Welcome back to Movie Moshow. Today we are going to review the horror thriller film, 30 Days of Night. If you like our content, don't forget to like and subscribe. We post multiple times daily. Spoilers ahead. Small town Barrow, Alaska, which is located near the Arctic Circle, is getting ready for its annual 30 Days of Night, a time when the sun won't be seen throughout the winter. People move for Fairbanks or other southern locations if they don't want to endure the prolonged darkness. The stranger, Ben Foster, arrives from a larger ship and makes his way towards Barrow as the community prepares. He begins sabotaging the village as soon as he gets there. He kills all the sled dogs, takes and destroys every cell phone, and destroys the sole helicopter in the community. Josh Hartnett's character as the sheriff of Barrow, Eben Olson, looks into these crimes. While doing so, he finds out that Stella, Melissa George, his estranged wife, missed the final jet out of town and will have to spend the next 30 days in Barrow. Stella moved out of the area some time ago. She tries to keep them apart, but when Eben confronts the stranger in the local diner, she assists in taming him and bringing him to the station house. The stranger taunts Eben, Stella, Jake, Eben's teenage brother, Mark Rendell, their grandmother, Elizabeth McCrae, and others from a prison cell, warning them that death is on the way. Right at that moment, vampires attack the town's power plant and communications hub, turning it dark and cutting it off from the outside world. When Eben visits the communications facility, he discovers the operator's head mounted on a pike. Then, he and Stella search the town for the perpetrators of the heinous atrocities. Marlowe, Danny Houston, the leader of the vampires, leads them as they attack the village. The other vampires scream as Marlowe converses in an old, guttural language. The majority of the community, including Eben's grandmother, is slaughtered by them because they are defenseless against gunshots until they are fired into their heads. The diner is where the survivors congregate. Bo Brower, Mark Boone Jr., a local snowplow driver, saves Eben and Stella from the vampires' attacks. They also dine there. Everyone makes the decision to visit a person's abandoned home who had departed town earlier that day. They will be able to hide in the house's secret attic. Because of his efforts on behalf of the vampires, Marlowe discovers the stranger in the jail and promptly murders him. In order to uphold modern humanity's notion that vampires are the stuff of bad dreams and nothing more, Marlowe commands the vampires to slaughter the town instead of turning anyone into a vampire before vanishing. Eben, Stella, Jake, and 7 other people stay in the attic for the following week. Only Wilson and his frail father, Isaac, decide to leave despite their arguments. When Eben sets out to assist a lost survivor, he discovers that beheading the vampires will put an end to them. Eben and the others use the whiteout conditions to get to the general store when a blizzard strikes. One of them is hurt as a young girl vampire attacks them there. When the whiteout breaks, they are unable to return to the abandoned home. Everyone should visit the station house, Eben decides. He is going to run to his grandmother's house to create a distraction. She has a UV lighting system and grows marijuana. After arriving at the residence, Eben starts the generator and shines a light on the vampires who have been pursuing him. One is horribly burned by it, causing Marlowe to murder her. While trying to flee the house, Eben is pursued by vampires. Bo saves the day once more by using his plow to dispatch a large number of the vampires. He collides with a motel and sets a box of dynamite on fire in an effort to burn the vampires. Even though his scheme fails, Eben has enough time to get to the station house. There, the injured party transforms into a vampire. He wants Eben to behead him since he still has a little bit of humanity in him. Eben agrees. Another 2 weeks pass. From across the street, Stella and Eben notice someone signaling them. Billy Kitka, Eben's assistant, is there, Manu Bennett. Stella and Eben arrive to Billy's home. He killed his wife and daughters when the vampires attacked, but the gun jammed before he could shoot himself. He is transported back to the station house by Stella and Eben. There they discover that the others have reached the Utiliter, the last remaining powered facility that controls the oil pipeline. Billy, Stella, and Eben start to slink closer to the Utiliter. Stella makes a pit stop to save an innocent child who is being pursued by a vampire. While Stella leads the girl to safety, Eben and Billy try to divert the vampire's attention. Billy and Eben are split up instead. They both eventually reach the Utiliter, but Billy is pursued by a vampire. Eben is relieved to see that the other survivors are still alive. Billy is attacked by the vampire, who slashes at his neck and amputates one of his hands. Billy smashes the vampire into the pump's gears when it strikes Eben, dissolving it. Billy is then put to death by Eben before he can become a vampire. In a few hours, the sun will rise. To hide their traces, the vampires decide to burn down the town. As the flames quickly approach them, Stella radios to Eben that she and the small girl are hiding under an abandoned truck. Eben injects himself with Billy's diseased blood so he can battle the vampires as a vampire after realizing he cannot defeat them as a human. Eben prevails in their violent fight against Marlowe. The other vampires vanish without a leader. Eben goes with Stella to see the sunrise. He is burned while she is holding him in her arms. Thank you for watching and don't forget to like and subscribe.